Okay, let's start. Welcome everyone. God bless you. I hope you've had so far a wonderful and glorious um, Sunday. As usual, it's a day of the resurrection and it's a celebration for all of us. We celebrate that in the divine liturgy and in the partaking of the body and blood of Christ that gets consecrated on the same day today. The gospel reading for today is from St. Matthew, according to St. Matthew, chapter 8, verses 5 through 13. But before we talk about that, I'd like to tell you that we just started today Camp St. Thecla at home. It started at 1 p.m. and right now icebreakers are going on, so I will not prolong this live streaming so that I can get back to Camp St. Thecla. We will finish around 8:30 today, and the camp will continue all week long through Saturday. It's not going to be all day long every day. There are breaks within the day because it's Zoom, and we don't want to burden people with that. But attendance is great. I think as of a couple of days ago, the registration was 140 campers. There was a few more yesterday, I think. So 140 campers, and they are participating in the Zoom meetings right now. So to get back to the gospel reading for today, from the gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 8, verse 5 through 13. The most significant part of that gospel reading is what I'm going to read to you right now. It says, "Truly I say to you, not even in Israel have I found such faith. I tell you, many will come from east and west and sit at table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven, while the sons of the kingdom will be thrown into the outer darkness. There men will weep and gnash their teeth." This can stand by itself, but as an introduction to this paragraph, a centurion came to Jesus and asked him to heal his servant. And Jesus said, he will go and heal him. But the centurion said, "I'm not worthy for you to come under my roof to heal my servant. Just say that he can be healed, and then he is healed. Just say you are healing him from a long distance, and he will be healed," which is very significant. It is so significant that Jesus said, "I don't see faith like that, not even in Israel." That's what Jesus said to him. The idea is that he has so much faith that he told Jesus, "You can heal him without coming to my home. I am a man under authority. I say to that person, go, he goes. I say to that person, come, he comes," and so on. That's why I'm not worthy that you enter under my roof. But the fact is, it is not only his faith that is important here. He actually took action. He did works. He came to Jesus. He could have stayed at home and said, "Okay, Lord, I'll pray so that you can heal him." But he didn't do that. He could have done that, but he didn't. He came to Jesus and he asked him. So it's not only faith, but it is his works that counts too. Jesus underlined, highlighted his faith. but also his works count. So, what does that paragraph mean? That many will come from east and west and sit at table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven, while the sons of the kingdom will be thrown into the outer darkness. There men will weep and gnash their teeth. Well, what he is saying is that the sons of the kingdom, the sons and daughters of the kingdom, which are us right now, the Christians have become the sons and daughters of Christ, of the kingdom of God. And we stand to lose it, as others in the past have lost it. We stand to lose it. The focus is on us. We need to do what he says, basically. And it is being repeated many Sundays in a row. It gets repeated, the same thing, over and over and over. Yes, we've memorized it, but we need to work it into our lives. Our faith needs to be worked into our lives, because St. James said, faith without works is dead. So that's what we need to do. It's not a new message. It's an old message. Actually, it's a 2,000-year-old message. And we keep repeating it every year, so many times. But sometimes we are so preoccupied with our lives, with our work, with our everything we do in life, and we miss the boat. You know, when I'm talking to college students or high schoolers or even younger kids who go to school, I ask them, when you go to school, the first class you have, do they give you the questions that are on the final exam? Do they give you the answers to these questions on the final exam? And of course, the answer is no. The college students say no. The high schoolers, the middle schoolers, the elementary schoolers, they don't get the questions and the answers of the final exam on the first class. They don't. Does that make sense? That professors and teachers give the final exam questions and answers as they will come on the final exam during the semester? No, that doesn't happen. Never happened. But however, Jesus does exactly that. He gives us throughout our life the questions and the answers of the final exam. And they are right here in this gospel reading. He says, you have to have a strong faith. At Judgment Day, we will be asked, did you have strong faith? In other places, he highlights works. That's a question on the final exam at Judgment Day. And he gives us the answer. How to work these answers of the questions into our lives. He tells us. And in Orthodoxy, every day we talk about it. For the past 3 years, we have been talking about becoming godlike, deification. If you go to the Orthodox Study Bible and go to 2 Peter, there is a page in there that talks, it's not part of the Bible, it is editorial on how to become godlike. In 2 Peter, it talks about deification and how to implement in our lives the questions that he gives us now that will be on the final exam. This way, he said, we will not have an excuse at Judgment Day. We will not be able to say, oh, I didn't know. Because he gave us the questions and he gave us the answers. And this is very, very powerful. Extremely powerful. When I used to teach engineering, electronics, and circuit theory in Boston, I used to teach it on Saturdays. I used to give them the questions that will be on the final. And I would solve those problems on the board. And I tell them, this problem is going to be on the final exam. This problem is going to be on the midterm. And this is the answer. I might change the numbers a little bit so that you have to calculate the answer, but not memorize the answer. They thought that I was joking with them. So here comes the midterm. All the questions on the midterm is exactly what I told them during the semester. After they handed in their midterm, they said, we thought you were kidding. I said, if you know how to solve these problems based on what I told you, then you would know everything in the curriculum. And now I'm telling you again, these are the questions of the final exam. Go study them, understand them, and they will be on the final exam. And that's exactly what I did. Some people heeded the friendly warning and studied those questions and did well on the final exam. Others ignored the friendly warning because they did not think I was serious. In this case, of course, where did I get that method from? From the Bible, from what Jesus has done in the Bible. And that's exactly what he's telling us today in the gospel reading this morning. Our faith and our works are very, very important. So we need to pay attention to them. We need to help others pay attention to them. If you have any questions, please type them in as we continue today's live streaming. So, what are the things that we need to do? Again, as we went through them at every parish multiple times, it's the virtues. It's to love other people, to be patient, to have self-control, to be good, to have faith, faithfulness, and so on. When we do those, we become godlike. And then we will know the answers to the final exam questions that will be at Judgment Day. And this is no joke. Jesus told us this is no joke. This is what will happen. So, once again, we go over it. We need to take it seriously if we're not. And we need to implement it in our lives. Okay. Dom has a question. It's off the subject. That's okay. But something I have been wondering, is it important for women to wear a head covering in church? And if so, why? Well, it is a modesty issue. When we go to church, whether we are men or women, we do not want to be the center of attention. We do not want to be the attraction. The attraction is in the altar, the body and blood of Christ. we need to concentrate on the liturgy. Okay? We need to concentrate on the liturgy. We need to concentrate on the petitions. We need to concentrate on the sermon. We need to concentrate on every little bit of the liturgy so that we may receive the body and blood of Christ. So we should not be the attraction. We should be focusing directly into the altar. As a matter of fact, in churches in the Middle East, and those used to exist here in the US, but not anymore, they used to have over the royal doors an eye. And that symbolizes the eye of God watching us to see if we are paying attention to the liturgy. It has fallen out of use, out of tradition, and it's not being used right now. But all churches used to have an eye over the royal door on the iconostas, as if it is the eye of God watching over us. There is another symbol also, which is the ostrich egg. The legend has it that if the ostrich takes her eyesight off the egg becomes infertile. And so do we have to do, not taking our eye off the altar and what is going on at the altar. This is all symbolism. For this reason, in some cultures, women cover their head so that they're not the attraction to other people. A woman's hair is part of her beauty, and that's why some women wear head covering so that they are not the attraction to other people. I think it's a good idea for the women in one church, in every church, to meet and decide, do they want to wear a head covering or not? And this is the reason for it. So it's a good idea to go over that, decide as a group if you want to wear the head covering or not. It doesn't look as good when some are putting on the head covering and some are not. There would be some issues. So the women, every parish has Antiochian women, so it's a good idea for them to meet and decide on it. The goal is not to be the attraction. But this is not the only thing that has to happen. There are other things that can be an attraction. The way people dress can be an attraction. So it's not just the head covering, other things are important as well. I hope that answers your question, Dom. Okay, let's see what other questions are here. Okay. Also off subject, Scott. But my daughter Violet has been reading the Gospel of John, and she has been wondering if Jesus saw Judas when he descended to Hades, or did Judas die later? Well, Judas died before Jesus went to Hades. Jesus went to Hades after he was crucified and died on the cross. So the idea is that Jesus was there after Judas died and went to Hades. I hope that's the question you're asking, Scott. Okay, Mitzi. Oops. Mitzi says, I teach genetics in college the same way you taught electronics, and my students act the same way. I pray I treat God's final exam seriously. Thank you for the example. You're welcome. My pleasure. Sarah, good question. St. George, Cairo, has an eye, okay? What is the deal with the evil eye, which looks a lot like the eye over the royal doors? Okay, the evil eye is just a cultural thing in the Middle East. It has nothing to do with the church. People think that some people have the power to use the evil eye to jinx someone or to kill someone or to do harm to someone. The church does not believe in the evil eye. This is something that is cultural only. There was a study at one point to see who is affected by the evil eye. And they found out the only people who are affected by the evil eye are the people who believe in the evil eye. The people who did not believe in it, they were not affected. So that is not to say that evil does not exist. Evil does exist, but the evil eye specifically is not true. The evil, there are in the church special prayers against evil. So evil does exist, and the church acknowledges that, but not the evil eye. Okay. Let's see. Norma, even when women pray alone at home, covering the head is ignoring self-beauty and recognizing the beauty of God alone, humbly too. Okay, that's great. That's a great comment as well. Basically, sometimes we might not concentrate on our prayers. Our minds might stray away. And this is one way to keep our minds on prayer. You know, the covering comes this way as well, so that we can't look right or left. We can look only at the icon. And that's what Norma is referring to. Okay, Dom, how about though if a woman does not have beautiful hair? Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, Dom. Some people might think it's not beautiful, some people think it's beautiful. That's the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's a matter of opinion. Beauty is a matter of opinion. Actually, in French, there is a proverb that says taste and beauty and colors cannot be discussed, because what I like to eat, you might not like to eat. What color or something beautiful I might like, you might not like. That's why they cannot be discussed. Why do you like it? Why don't you like it? That cannot be discussed, because it's in the eye of the beholder. Okay, Norma has one more reason to cover the head. Okay, great, Don, that makes sense. Wonderful. Okay, what's the one more reason, Norma? I'm sure you're typing. We'll wait for you for a second. And like I said, it is not just the covering of the hair, it's how we dress as well. We do not want to attract attention. Okay, one more reason, when the hair is not beautiful. Okay, that's a good point. If the hair is not beautiful, then it'll attract attention as well. That's a good a good reason. If somebody thinks somebody else's hair is not beautiful, then it's going to probably attract attention and say, um, uh, I'm focusing on that hideous hair, for example, which is beautiful to somebody else. That's a good reason, Norma. Wonderful. Wonderful. Any other questions? Please type them, and we'll continue. I'm going to give you a short debriefing about Camp St. Thecla. It is going on today. It started at 1 p.m. This is CST at home, Camp St. Thecla at home. It started at 1 p.m. and it's ongoing until Saturday, every day. And we're going to be sending every night an email to all the campers and their parents, telling them what is going on the next day, even though they do have the full schedule already, but we reiterate what is going on the next day, and we send them the Zoom links and the YouTube links. So every night, parents, please be on the lookout so that you receive the email for the next day. It has the Zoom links and the YouTube links and a reiteration of the schedule for the next day. I want to tell you again about the committee that has been working very hard to organize Camp St. Thecla. I appointed that committee back in January, and I've been meeting with them every single meeting. We've been meeting on a weekly basis. At the beginning, we were planning the regular camp. We were formalizing the regular camp. Everything is going to be documented, job descriptions, safety procedures, everything is going to be documented. We document what we say, and we say what we document. If you're familiar with ISO 9000, we're not implementing ISO 9000, but we are implementing something close to it, which is a standard of excellence. And then when the Archdiocese canceled camps, we switched into CST at home, and the committee is Father Alex McCool, in the pastor of St. Nicholas Church in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, Suanna Kime Alter. I'm only saying her maiden name so that you know who she is. She just got married. So Suanna Kime Alter, All Saints, Raleigh, North Carolina. Mara Schuler Hackling. Schuler is her maiden name as well, so that you recognize her. She is from St. Elias Church in Atlanta, Georgia. Ted Worthmuller, who just graduated from seminary from St. Vladimir's. He is at home now at St. Andrew's Church in Pensacola, Florida. And myself, we've been meeting at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. And this is the group that has been planning CST at home. A lot of work, a lot of details in order to make it happen. A lot of work. You can't believe the amount of details that has to be put in place to make it successful. Okay. Let's see. Bert might have a question. Quarantine hair might need covering. Yeah, that's right, Bert. Although a couple of weeks ago, I put my mask on and I went to Supercuts and had a haircut. I had my mask on, and the person who cut my hair had her mask on. So thank God it's been over 2 weeks. I did not contract COVID-19. Okay. Sarah, for me, the head covering is an ADHD antidote. Okay, there you go. Okay, whatever works. Dom says quarantine self haircuts, self haircuts as well. Okay, good. Jeremy, if modesty could be fixed by simply covering a woman's hair, men and women today find many ways to be immodest. I agree with you. That's why I said earlier, it's not just the covering of the hair. It's the tight clothing, the revealing clothing, the very colorful clothing, uh, the jeans that are low hip jeans, whatever they're called. Um, Many things for both men and women that can be uh, the center of attention instead of the altar and the liturgy and the body and blood of Christ. So all of us need to look at what we wear when we go to church so that we don't attract attention. Okay. Anna Sarah, Farha Jacksonville, thank you to everyone who has worked so hard to make CST at home possible. Thank you to all of you for participating and sending your kids as well, even though it is on Zoom. Okay, Jim, thank you for another lesson. God bless you. Thank you, everyone, and God be with you. If there are no more questions, we will end this live streaming, and God be with you all week, and we'll see you, God willing, next week on Sunday. Take care and God bless you. Bye bye.